Hi there, this is Nick here at Explaining History, and this is a message going out to the Teachers Pay Teachers guys. I just wanted to say hi and give you a few little insights from some Holocaust education work that I've been doing recently. One of the things I do here in the UK is I'm a Holocaust educator, and I fly to Krakow twice a year with a couple of hundred kids, and we take them around Auschwitz 1, Auschwitz Birkenau, and then back again in one day. It's a hell of a trip, and I'm doing it the day after tomorrow. Now, probably some point in your career, probably sometime in this academic year, you're going to teach something about the Holocaust. It's probably the most taught modern history topic in the UK, the US, and most other countries. It simply comes up time and time again because it's connected to so many different aspects of what we teach in school about, tolerance and acceptance of difference and the dangers of bigotry and racism and all these kinds of things, and it's integral to the understanding not just of Germany, the Second World War, but also the development of the Middle East, with the creation of Israel, and there are all sorts of questions about how the Holocaust was used, the memory of the Holocaust was used in the post-war era by the Western Allies and by the communist powers of Eastern Europe, and how it was generally ignored and suppressed. It was quite an inconvenient happening as far as they were concerned. There were much more important things that the new sides in the Cold War wanted to focus on. And of course, it's used by both sides in the Middle Eastern conflicts that have happened since the 1940s. But I wanted to talk to you specifically about Auschwitz Birkenau. And I think there's a danger, in a way, of misunderstanding the Holocaust, principally because Auschwitz-Birkenau is such an important and monolithic site. It is, in popular culture, in films like Schindler's List, and in every documentary on the Holocaust, the focus is on Auschwitz-Birkenau. More Jews were murdered outside Auschwitz-Birkenau than in it. This is fact number one that must be understood. More Jews were murdered across the killing sites of Eastern Europe, and if you take the combined death toll in the other camps, the Reinhard camps, and places like Mauthausen, it comes to a greater death toll than that of Auschwitz-Birkenau. Now, this isn't to downplay the importance of Auschwitz-Birkenau. I think the significance of Auschwitz-Birkenau is that by 1944, when the killings are at their height, Auschwitz-Birkenau really is the last surviving death camp. The others have been, for reasons various, places like Sobibor closed down. The SS don't feel they're being run properly. There is ironically, at many of the other the four other Reinhard camps, Chelmno, Majdanek, Belzec, and Sobibor, there is an immense amount of corruption, and the inspections of the camp by the SS Inspectorate reveal that things aren't being done there as they should be. I mean, ironically, the thing that is being done there is that Jews are being murdered in large numbers. But there is a breakout at Sobibor where the prisoners managed to cut through the wire in it and escape across a minefield, leading to Sobibor's temporary closure. So by 1944, the last great camp standing is Auschwitz-Birkenau. Now, the difference between Auschwitz-Birkenau and the other four camps is that the other four camps are very small, principally because there are no barracks, because there are no prisoners, or a tiny number of prisoners kept alive. Nearly everyone who gets to the other four camps is killed almost instantly, within a very short period of time, a matter of probably about half an hour. Whereas the Auschwitz-Birkenau is a very large site. It has a slave labour section, and the slave labour at Auschwitz-Birkenau is distributed to about 50 subcamps and other sites, from agricultural work through to mining and manufacturing slave labour, all over the area close to Auschwitz, and particularly at Auschwitz-Monowitz, the Buna plant nearby, established by the industrial conglomerate IG Farben. So Auschwitz Birkenau is a very complicated site. Now, another great myth about Auschwitz Birkenau is to do with the railway line. The railway line is only added in 1944. It's added in 1944 when Hitler overthrows the government of Admiral Horthy in Hungary, who was one of Nazi Germany's allies, and replaces it with a far more extreme fascist government. Admiral Horthy was a bit cautious about the final solution. He suspected the war was not necessarily going to go in the Axis powers' favour, and was wondering what the result would be, what the outcome would be for people such as himself at the end of the war. After Stalingrad, he fears that the Red Army will march into Hungary, as indeed they do, and didn't want to be implicated in the Holocaust. Not to suggest that in Hungary there wasn't a great deal of anti-Semitic hatred and participants ready to send the Jews to their deaths, because there certainly were. But the German occupation of Hungary escalates the Holocaust in 1944. The most intense period of mass killing therefore happens at Auschwitz in the summer of 1944, where 440,000 Jews were deported from Hungary to Auschwitz on 145 trains in 2 months, nearly all of whom died at Auschwitz, most of whom were gassed right away, and the rest died of slave labour. And it was for this reason, this huge influx of new victims for Auschwitz, that saw the SS build a railway line from the small station platform that was a couple of kilometres away from Auschwitz-Birkenau all the way into the camp, right up to the selection ramp, which was a few hundred yards away from the gas chambers. So there was a constant process of refining and mechanising and, I hate to use the term, improving the process of mass killing at Auschwitz-Birkenau. And this wasn't, the railway line wasn't in existence at the start of the war, because the circumstances of the war necessitated the Nazi regime in speeding up and expanding the scope of mass killing, thus meaning that the Holocaust itself, the infrastructure of the Holocaust, Auschwitz and the other camps, had to innovate and to change as the fortunes of war shifted. So if we were teaching this, you could make a clear connection between the changing fortunes of war and the changing and altering shape of the Holocaust itself. So it's always a kind of a mistake, really. There should be no mistakes in teaching, but certainly there are. It's always a mistake to see the Holocaust as one fixed and unchanging process. It evolves, it takes different forms. At certain points, different ideas about what to do with the Jews are eliminated until we finally get to a final solution. And then the final solution, as decided in January 1942, itself evolves, accelerates, and the pace of it changes throughout the next 2 years, or next 3 years, all the way up to January the 27th, 1945, when Auschwitz is liberated. Anyway, I hope you found this little chat useful. I'm going to try to put something like this on the blog every single week, just looking at a different aspect of what we do, what we're talking about, and how we can refine our practice, and how we can really get classroom debate going, how we can build investigations, how we can get learners just thinking in different and unconventional ways, how we can shake up what we do so we don't wind up boring ourselves. Anyway, if you want to find more materials about the Holocaust, more materials for delivering Holocaust lessons, I'll be placing those on Teachers Pay Teachers, so you can check out my TPT page. Look forward to speaking to you again soon. All the best. Bye-bye.